Wayfeather Media presents Clairvoyaging.
What's going on, everybody?
Feeling those vibes.
Question, do people still listen to trap music?
I have no idea. I'm not the person to ask about that.
No, we're 40. We're cool.
I don't think I ever listened to trap music, so.
You know what? You didn't.
I'm not the person. I was a musical theater kid.
That is the opposite of trap.
Do people still listen to the Sister Act 2 soundtrack? That's what we really want to know.
Oh, man.
Because that is a bop. That's a word, right?
All right. Updates. Go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. We told you this last week, but we are rebranding our logo. So don't look for a boat. Look for clairvoyaging with like kind of a sun shimmer around it.
New logo. New us. I'm concerned that you guys are going to go onto your platform and not see our original logo and forget that we exist. So don't do that. New stuff. It's us.
Clairvoyaging. If you are listening, then you found us. So anyway, another thing, I still have a coupon code going on my website, hellolaurenleon.com. If you want to have 15% off a Reiki service, distance Reiki, or if you're in the area in Westlake Village, come see me in person. It's 15% off, and the coupon code is CV15.
CV15.
Yeah.
And we will see you there.
Oh, wow. There he is. Always bringing it.
Hey, babe, what did we do on Sunday?
You guys, we took to the streets.
We took to the streets.
We went to Venice Beach. Here's why. I was telling Frank recently that in my discussions with people about this podcast, I've noticed something, and I realized that everyone has a thing. Like you start talking about spirits or signs or intuition, and people open up and start talking about their thing. Like, oh, I sense energy, or, oh, I have really good intuition when it comes to this, blah, blah, blah. So we decided it would be fun to hit the street and ask random people their thoughts on spiritual stuff and intuition. And we wanted to bring our good friend, Emily Bolcik.
You know what would be really cool is
What?
if everybody, before we played the interview, if everybody could meet Emily Bolcik as if she were, Emily, are you here with us right now?
Yeah.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen.
Emily Bolcik.
Okay. Guys, this is a lot of buildup.
It is a lot of buildup.
Yeah. Emily, do you have any takeaways from our adventure?
They don't have to be good takeaways. It's okay.
Yeah, if it was like, that was really awkward, that's also fine.
Well, I've been thinking in the days since, it was very challenging for me, like in ways I wasn't expecting to have to approach so many strangers.
It was a fun idea, and we were like, this will be great. And then we got there and we were like, I'm so uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm a lifelong introvert on Venice boardwalk.
Listeners, we were basically canvassing the Venice boardwalk, asking people to have like very in-depth conversations with us, and we received our fair amount of rejections. That might not come through exactly in the episode because it's been edited by yours truly. So I made us sound amazing and very well liked. But I can guarantee you we were not always very well liked.
People don't want you to ask them questions with a microphone.
Look, they think we're selling stuff. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. We've all rejected that person. I don't want your CD. You know, everyone knows that.
The people we did find, I was amazed by. The connections we did make, I thought were so cool.
That was really cool. I liked when someone would just like have a moment with us. Like,
yeah,
surrounded by absolute chaos. And someone would be like, I had a dream just last night about my grandmother. And you're like, oh my God.
It is
We're
pretty
getting
cool.
real right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone's performing to Michael Jackson. We're like talking about spirits.
Yeah. A real meeting of the minds in a place least expected.
That's just Venice Beach for you. So, Emily, thank you for coming with us on such a wild little ride. We hope to do it again.
My pleasure.
If you ever want to.
Very fun.
If you can stand it or stand us.
I think I can do it. Especially when I get to hear the edited version where we didn't get rejected so much. I think that'll be healing for me.
I left some of it in there, exposure therapy.
Yeah, okay, that'll be good too.
It's a blend.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoy our On the Street episode.
Yes. And once again, thank you, Emily, for being our comfort blanket.
Thank you, Emily.
It's an honor to be on the pod.
Oh, the pod.
Always a pal, a friend of the show.
All right.
I'll take it.
Take it away. No, wait.
Wait, Emily, you say.
You send it off.
Yes, send us off.
All right, everybody, enjoy the show. Take it again?
No.
That was it. We have a guest co-host today. This is Emily Bolcik.
Hello.
This is Emily Bolcik.
Well, we're out here on Venice Boardwalk, and my name's Emily. Haha. I think as highly sensitive people, we're going to be overstimulated for the first couple minutes.
Absolutely.
I am, at least. Yeah. I saw a dog on a bike. I feel like I'm at a middle school dance right now, trying to fit in.
Oh my God,
kind of
that's
energy.
exactly what it feels like. And also, we're standing here just to get comfortable with, holding microphones.
In public.
Yeah, in public. It feels, embarrassing for some reason.
It feels so embarrassing.
It feels like a scene, even though no one cares.
No, everyone's looking at us.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you wrapping your gum around your finger?
Yeah. Just due to anxiety. Here's a trash can.
The discomfort level is insane.
Well, you have to adapt to a new environment.
Yeah. Just
Would you like me to start?
you?
Yep.
Sure.
Here. I film people a lot. Just can I ask you a question real quick? I have a podcast asking people if they have any interesting stories about ghosts or spirits, and we talk a lot about psychic abilities, and our point is kind of that everybody has an ability. So if you were willing to mention a story or anything you have.
I'm actually an intuitive healer for my
No
business, so I feel like it's funny. Yeah, but I am wearing a butterfly outfit, so I guess.
I'm not going to
makes
say
me
that's why
more
I picked you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm actually a medium too.
No way.
Yeah, when I was little, before I had the gifts, it was very scary. And my first experience is probably my most memorable. It was an old lady, and I thought it was my grandmother because sometimes she would come and visit. And so I was looking at her, and I shot up out of my bed and I said, Nana. And then she looked at me, and I was like, oh, that's not my Nana. And she came towards me, and I remember being able to see through her, but her details were as if somebody drew in blue. It was a weird shade. And then I just covered my head, and that was my first experience. And after that,
And how old were you?
I was 3 or 4, something like that. Yeah. And then after that, I got, I would tell my mom, and my mom would just be like, well, only listen to the ones that you're asking for. And I just was trying to project that for a long time. And then once I started my business, I was like, well, maybe I can do something with this. And then once I was less afraid of it and harnessed it, it was a lot less scary.
Around what age were you when you actually decided to get into it? And is this what you do for a living now?
Yeah. So first I would just ignore ones that scared me and ones that I wasn't asking for. But then as I got older and I had relatives die, my mom's Uncle Joe, and he died, and he came to me, and I was like, oh, it's you. Okay, that's not so scary. And he was like, tell your mom, what about the daisies? Where are the daisies? And he chuckled. And I asked my mom, and she cried and was like, oh my gosh, that's my mother's favorite flower. I told her I would plant them after she passed away. I forgot, and so she planted the daisies. And I even double checked with my papi. I was like, what was Nana's favorite flowers? He's like, yeah, daisies. I was like, oh, okay. It's beautiful. It's not quite so scary. It's amazing. And it's just magical that we are not living here alone by ourselves. And,
We've been trying to talk to a lot of people who are very like you. Our little slogan is normalizing your spiritual journey.
oh, I love that.
And of course, you're the first person I talked to today.
I'm going to start you off.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Ruthie.
Ruthie. In this environment, we're at Venice Beach today. Mm-hmm. Is this environment overwhelming, having the intuitive gifts that you have?
Oh, 1,000, 100. Can I say fucking percent?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. Entirely. I've selenite with me because it is so overwhelming.
Right. I almost brought my selenite too. So
That's funny. You can be around this one though, so that's
this is
perfect.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to me. And my name is Frank. I don't think I introduced myself.
Oh yeah, hi Frank.
And the girls over there are with me too. They were nervous to get started, so this is on you two. So
I love that.
I'm supposed to be the sound guy today.
That's funny.
All right,
No, I
Ruthie,
love
thank you so
that.
much.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, and have a good day and enjoy your sound bowl.
Oh,
thing.
thank you. You too.
What about tall guy in the t-shirt and girl in the big cloth? What about that man?
You can do it. You can do it.
Do you have a second to talk about intuition?
No, but thank you.
You're welcome.
They got to catch a plane.
Okay.
All right.
We're
Safe
kinda
travels.
getting through some stuff.
Yeah.
Great. Enjoy your time.
Do you guys think psychic abilities are real?
No idea.
Okay. If they seem like they. Do you guys want to talk to me about intuition? Do you think psychic stuff's real? Kind of seems like no.
Venice Beach. It takes all kinds. The second you have a microphone, people think there is something wild going on.
Yeah.
They're like looking for like a camera crew.
Yeah. Do you have a second to get punked?
You guys have a second to talk about psychic things?
Maybe.
It's fun.
What?
Psychic talk about psychic things?
Psychic things for a second?
Yeah.
You do? I'm Lauren. This
I'm
is
Emily.
Hi, I'm Danica.
We're kind of asking people like, I feel like everybody has some kind of psychic ability or intuition. Do you have anything like
What's
that?
yours?
Or signs or anything like that?
I don't. I really don't. But I do feel like I have been trying to connect spiritually with the universe more and pay attention to positive things. And I feel like the more I pay attention, the more they're just hitting me in the face everywhere I go. So
Like, what's a recent one?
I was going for a walk and it was snowing. I'm from Idaho.
Oh, great.
And it was snowing and I was just thinking how beautiful the snow was. And I wished that, I was thinking how glittery inside it made me feel. And then the sun came out and all the snow was glitter in the air. It was
It's
amazing.
beautiful.
So I had that.
synchronicity.
Yeah, so I thought that was great. And then there's a story even that includes Dustin. One time we were driving in Idaho, just looking at the scenery, and I'm like, the only thing that would make this ride perfect is if we saw a moose. And he goes, oh, like that one? And one was standing right by the side of the road, and it's the only one we'd seen like for months.
Oh my
and there
God.
it was, right by the road.
It makes you feel like something's looking out for you.
a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, where do you stand? Even if it's total skepticism, what's your...
I'm really open to whatever, I kind of interpret everything really as well as I can, but there's a lot of unexplained wildness, like the moose, for instance, where she's just like, it'd be so cool if we could see a moose, and then like the universe just opened and there was a moose.
And there was a moose.
It's fun when you experience one together because there's like, you can't deny it. You got to witness.
That was weird. That was interesting. I'm stoked that we got to see the moose, and it was fun.
That's so cool. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing. It was Danica?
Yes.
Lauren, nice to meet
Lauren,
you.
nice
to meet you.
And our
Thank you.
podcast is called Clairvoyaging. It's about like normalizing your spiritual.
Well, okay.
Guys, good job. That was nice.
Also, I don't know if this is necessary for the podcast, but she's like, I'm trying to look for good things in the world. That was radiating on her face.
I know.
Like a sweet, kind energy.
Yeah. She was lovely.
That's fantastic.
Do you guys have a moment to talk to us about psychic stuff?
No.
It could be fun.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
Okay. Maybe in the next life. Do you guys have a moment to talk to us about psychic stuff?
Oh, okay.
I almost died to ask you that. How do so many people know how to skateboard? Some of these people look like they're on the worst day of their life.
Yeah, well, it's LA.
Okay.
We're getting closer to the hot dogs. Did you a quick question about intuition? Oh, there she is. Yes. Yes. He's like, please do not involve me. Do you have any like stories about intuition or like psychic stuff?
I've actually been able to predict every baby that my friends have,
Ooh,
like
that's
sex-wise.
cool.
So like my best friends, girl, boy, now a new girl. I think there's been 4 times.
Do you always just know?
No, not really. Sometimes I like second guess, but then I have to like sit with it and be like, no, you're definitely having a girl. Like you're meant to have a girl. And then it will be a girl or whatever.
Do you have any theory about what's going on, how you can do that?
I am a massage therapist, so I think I'm really in touch with people's bodies.
Yeah.
So I think that probably has something to do with it.
Do people have alarmingly different energy types?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. People are very different on the table.
Cool.
And a lot of weird different energy for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. But also like tarot. I feel like I've had a few instances where I've had people pass away and I've had dreams about them. And I'm like, yeah, that feels more than just a dream to me.
She said
Dream visitations.
Yeah. Where it doesn't feel like it's a dream. It's more like, hey, that's you. but you're not here anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, it feels more like that. I had one with my grandpa, which was super cool. His name is Larry. I was at his parents' house that I spent a lot of time out in the dream. And I went outside and he was out there with a chair, a cooler, and his friends in a truck. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You need to come inside. Everyone's going to be so excited to see you. And he just was like, I can't go back inside. Oh. And I just woke up and I was crying.
I have chills every time someone tells me one of
right?
those.
I have chills right now.
So
but yeah,
cool.
so I definitely like that felt pretty real. And then also I had an aunt that passed away and she had visited me a dream, and then the next day they told me that she had passed. And she just told me everything was okay in the dream, but I didn't even know she was gone at that point. So it didn't have meaning till later.
Yeah, again, chills.
Yeah, so it's pretty
so
cool. Yeah.
Man, okay.
That's why
so
when you said
have,
intuition, I was like, yeah, I'll stop for this.
Yeah.
I'll definitely stop.
What if your partner's the most psychic of all?
Hell no. Look at him. Look at him.
like lurking around the corner?
He
like,
heard
do
intuition and was like, bye.
Don't look at me.
Yeah,
Don't talk to me.
Exactly.
I love
I
how
did a
opposite your
tarot reading
answers
in
were.
Rome and he just like left. I was like, we're in Rome, bro. You can't just leave. He's like, I was at the end of the bridge. You just couldn't see me.
Do you feel like this is more people are becoming aware of this stuff?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that it kind of goes through phases and cycles.
Yeah.
And I think people go through big cycles of feeling like maybe it's all bullshit. And then there's big cycles of people feeling that intuition and being like, no, this has meaning. This feels like something. Because of the tarot stuff for me, I think people get really caught on like the future stuff. And I just don't think that's what it's about. It's like a connection to yourself, kind of trying to intuit what you're feeling, intuit what's going on around you. And I guess that's kind of how I interpret it rather than
like the fear. And
doom
and
someone
gloom.
else trying to tell me what's going to happen in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I just that's not how it works for me. So
They
the
also
intuition
say you can change
piece,
it too, right?
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
If you know what it might be.
Yeah, or if you know your own behaviors and patterns, you can say this isn't what I want for the future and decide differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What's your name?
Lexi.
Lexi.
Yes.
I'm Lauren.
Lauren, nice
I'm
to meet you.
Emily.
Emily, nice to meet
Thank
you.
you for stopping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have a second to talk about psychic things? Wait, you are a psychic?
Yeah, I don't want to talk.
Okay. Well, can't people psychically tell that we're nice?
Let's go closer to the crystal shop.
We took a quick 1.5-hour break to get caricatures of ourselves.
My dad used to perform at the Sidewalk Cafe and Bar every Sunday for 5 years.
I do feel overstimulated.
Can I ask you guys if you believe in psychics or psychic abilities or intuition or anything?
You're not today.
No, that's fine. Yeah. Sorry. I suppose I'm a man hovering outside of the women's restroom today.
You're drying your hands there after using the restroom. Do you have a...
Did you?
First of all, how was it in there?
Did you say 2 happy birthdays while washing your hands? You want to talk about psychics or intuition?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? Yay. All right, we have a podcast. It's called Clairvoyaging. This is my wife, Lauren. This is our friend, Emily.
Hi.
And I am Frank. So we're just asking people if they have any stories they want to share or any like psychic moments in their lives.
So I don't know if you would count as a psychic, but a Baba in India. So these are basically people who live selfless lives, and they sometimes have 2 thumbs on each finger, and that's kind of a sign that you can see more than the rest of us.
They have 2 thumbs on each hand?
Sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, at least the ones that I
saw
met.
this on Reddit yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, the
Whoa.
2 thumbs thing.
Yeah, so this guy, I didn't actually want anything from him. I just sat next to him, and he basically told me that I'm going to die within a week of my 60th birthday.
Oh.
Whoa. And whether or not it's true, I think about it all the time. So because I believe in psychics, I'm afraid to go see them in case I get more potentially bad news.
Yeah.
But that being said, when I get really stressed about it and I tell my therapist, like, I'm losing sleep at night because of this, she's like, well, think about if you're in Toronto, in Canada, and somebody comes up to you and says exactly what that guy said. Like, are you scared at that point? Probably not. So, you're there and you're like immersed in the culture. And so I have to try to remind myself, how do I know that he knows,
Yeah.
How do I know that he knows,
Right.
You can end on that great thought.
No, it's great. There is like an ethical issue to that. And like, that's something that we talk about often. Like, even though we're doing this, we're approaching people on the streets, but for like, psychics or people with intuitive abilities to do that and just approach you and give you information that you didn't necessarily ask for. It's not like the best thing, the best practice.
Yeah, no, totally. And like I said, this wasn't like he had a booth or anything. He was just a man on the street. And I actually didn't understand what he said at first.
Yeah.
But the guy I was with had told me this is what he said.
Gotcha.
And then I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, this guy said this to me, so this guy could say this and recommend his friend.
Right.
And there actually was a friend recommendation, like, as I was walking by. So I think about that, too. I don't know, but even the idea that this could be true freaked me out more than it maybe should have. I don't know, but I really believe in it. I really do.
We've had experiences with very loving mediums who would never say anything to hurt you or freak you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you find them?
Well,
It's funny, like the good ones aren't going to be the ones that like approach you on the street. And that's we've interviewed a bunch of psychics.
I intuitively think that this guy says that 10 times a day to people in India.
This is making me feel better.
And is fucking people up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because of some evil energy he has.
My dad went to a psychic. It was like a carnival psychic when he was younger. He was like 16 or something. And they told him that he was going to die when he was 50. How old's my dad?
63.
But he spent a lot of time thinking about it.
They said 50 on an airplane.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, oh, every time he would go fly somewhere, it would be like...
He would still fly? I would never... See?
Yeah.
And different people, right? This would paralyze me.
Yeah. But even for me, like I'm his son, I was like, oh my God, my dad told me the story. And like now I'm so worried for when he turns that age. But it's like...
Well, I'm happy to hear that he's 63.
Yeah.
This is the best part of my day.
See?
Yeah.
Also, like, we've talked to so many mediums now that everybody kind of says, like, sometimes they're just reading the energy that they're feeling in that moment, which doesn't necessarily mean...
No, this guy was full of shit. I feel very confident.
She's very confident about this.
I totally feel that too. I think sometimes they'll be like, oh, you know, you get people to be like, there's people that are scammers that'll say, oh, I can help remove this curse or something and pay me, you know, $500 to remove the dark energy that's following you.
Yeah.
I've like read people saying that like they've had someone tell them that, and that's not the like beautiful, loving energy of
I mean, I'm not
someone.
gonna lie to you. I've pretended to be a psychic in bars before, but only really good news. And I see a couple who are like on their first date, and I'll just and I'll be like, guys, I just wanted to stop and tell you that like this energy, it's a good one. And then I walk away, and
love that.
They're so excited, and all of a sudden now they're talking more. So yeah, I do. There are scammers, and sometimes they scam for good.
Yeah.
The scamming for good.
Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you both so much for taking the time. Enjoy your day.
There's a couple things you guys, you're naturally doing that we learned. You know how I did that canvassing for political stuff?
Oh, yeah.
You're doing it naturally, easing into it and sharing a personal story. Yeah. So just to let you know, your instincts
wow.
seem like they're really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I do like to talk to people, though. Oh, that scared me. Never mind, I take it back.
I'm gonna kill you.
Ever been murdered? You guys have a second to talk about psychics or intuition?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Yeah.
Bye.
Do you guys have a second to talk about intuition and psychic abilities? Yeah?
Oh,
let's hear it.
You have a look.
Do you mind if we record? Is that okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, cool.
So basically, my psychic experience was one time I told myself that I was gonna get a job. And I was like, okay, gotta go through the motions, manifesting and everything.
Yeah.
Then I was just like, you know what? Okay, if I really want this job, you don't have to worry about it, you know? So basically, when I stopped worrying about it, everything just came true.
Oh
my God.
How about that?
Yeah.
So basically, right, I went to this interview. It was in Central City, and it's like for like a houseman position, basically. And I had just came from the Ace Hotel, and the guy he was like, have you ever worked with like around celebrities and da 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 da? And I was like, yeah. But I guess he wasn't believing me or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, because we're filming American Horror Story right here, you know what I'm saying, at this particular hotel.
Oh.
And then I kind of just got the vibe he wasn't feeling me like that. So I was like, I had went through 2 interviews. I had one more interview. I went through him, and then I had like the vibe that he wasn't feeling me. So I'm like, all right. And the job was basically across the street from the Fox Studios.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I just stood there, and I was like, damn, one day I'm gonna be in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna be in there. And then fast forward a year later, I get a gig from American Horror Story, and I ended up, you know what I'm saying, playing in American Horror Story Apocalypse season. And I ended up getting the gig, and I was in Fox Studios 2 years later.
You hit it.
Crazy.
That's
literally
amazing.
no, seriously.
Awesome.
You can look it up. I'm really in there. It was crazy. It was like,
congratulations.
it was a whole spiritual experience though. It was like, man, I didn't, you know.
See, manifested.
I manifested it basically because I stopped there. I closed my eyes. I'm gonna be in there one day. And 2 years later, I was in there.
Yeah.
Like you had a knowing.
Yeah, it was because I knew and I felt it. It happened, and I was like, okay, that's what it is. You know, you gotta feel it and you just gotta know, and you know, you're gonna reel it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna will it in.
Yeah.
What's your name? Lamonte Humanks, Lasso.
Yeah, Omar Coles or Omar Rashad.
Guys, thank you so much. See? It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. I gotta say, I feel pretty proud of Frank right now. The introvert is like really...
Do you have a second to talk about intuition? Okay.
The introvert is really putting it together right now. Good job, Frank.
I know that I'm going to go back into my studio and not come out for 3 more months, so it's okay. It's a shame that people like kind of want to.
Yeah, but their friends not smiling.
Yeah.
What if I'm in charge of telling ladies to smile more, and you ask?
Second to talk about intuition or psychic abilities. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That's okay. I was going to ask if you have a second to talk about intuition or psychic abilities.
I'm a trauma therapist. Where is this going?
Serious?
Yeah.
We have a podcast where we're kind of trying to normalize people's spiritual journey.
Okay, yeah.
So I just wanted to ask if you have any interesting stories and if you're okay with being recorded. We're
Totally,
recording.
yeah, that's
Okay, cool. Yeah, what's your name?
My name's Cam.
Cam.
I'm a trauma therapist. Yeah.
That's a big job. You probably run into a bunch of stuff.
A lot of the subconscious. Yeah.
We were just talking about trauma last night. I was saying, like, I've never, like, allowed myself to own my trauma or call it that. I've gone through a lot of things as a kid, and I was like, I think just in the last few months, I've almost given myself permission to, like, call it trauma. Frank, my husband, was like, yeah, it's trauma. I'm like, okay.
We're the last ones to know that we're traumatized.
Yeah.
We go through our whole lives in these patterns, and they repeat and they show us our childhood.
Yeah.
And until we do the work to look back, it's, you know, we're going to keep repeating it.
Yeah.
In your work, have you run into anybody that has like had some kind of spiritual awakening as a result of their
Oh, that's what I do. Absolutely. I think children, like when we come into this earth as children, we are teachers. We have complete objectivity. We don't know what's bad or what's good. We only know what our bodies are telling us, which is pure intuition. Yeah. And then we have parents that can or can't tolerate that.
Right.
And that just changes our trajectory for the rest of our lives. Yeah. And my work is bringing people back to that child and getting them acquainted, right? Like, who is this little being that didn't get to be themselves?
That's interesting because I was just reading about like shadow work and inner child work and being those things being kind of similar. If you had anything to tell people about that kind of trauma work, what would you want to say to them?
Trust your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are told in so many different ways that our body's getting it wrong. There's nothing wrong about what your body's telling you. Yeah.
You seem like a very like in touch, intuitive person. I could tell you like you're reading me, you're reading my like body language and stuff. How do you feel like you have any like intuitive abilities yourself that helps you with your job?
Yeah, I think I can talk for a short while with someone and get a good sense of their inner child and a good sense of their parents too.
Oh.
Yeah.
How am I doing?
Maybe we can talk a little longer.
Uh-oh.
Keep going, Frank.
Yeah, that's funny.
I have a question. Do you believe in a magical element to all of this, or do you?
It's alchemy. It's alchemy. Yeah. Absolutely. The things that hurt us the most teach us the most valuable lessons, right? Yeah. Deepens us into love. Like that's magic.
And so, did you have a time where you? Did you have to find your way back into your body, into your intuition?
Yeah. I came from a difficult childhood. I learned to sit outside of my body for most of my life.
Yeah.
And it's been a journey to get back inside and in touch.
It seems like a lot of the most powerful healers and therapists had to go through the whole journey themselves before they could pass it on to the next.
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful to witness.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell someone where to go if you've not been there.
Yeah.
Do you find that the people who have gone through the most trauma are often have the most to offer people in an emotional sense?
If they're in touch with their trauma, yes, absolutely.
Otherwise, I'm sure it can go the other way.
It is, it's hard to tell sometimes. We bleed onto people if we haven't healed, but we have the ability to pour into people when we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a card or anything?
I wish I did.
Do you want to plug your practice? Real quick?
Sure. Resonance Healing Collective. My name's Cam. Yeah, I do RRP work. If anyone knows what that is, good for you.
What is that?
Yeah, relationship recovery process.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to us. I really appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you. Oh, she was special.
Yeah, she's so like grounded or something.
Yeah, and very non-judgmental. She was patient with us. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like talking about psychics or intuition or anything? Why do you say or anything?
Or anything.
Or burgers?
Burgers. I'll do burgers.
Oh, wait. Did you say burgers?
I'm pro.
I'm your gal.
Do you have any psychic or spiritual events that have happened in your life that maybe made you think about things differently, or anything that can't necessarily be explained?
I feel like every time I've lost somebody in my life, I actually have very vivid dreams where they're still alive. And it happens a lot to me. I lost my best friend after high school when I was 18 in a car accident. And she was in my dream the next day. And I was laying on her lap and I was like, "Are you with God?" And she was like, "Yeah. Duh, what do you mean?" And before that, my family was never religious or anything, so I never even went to church. And then from then I was like, oh my God, I think God is real. And my grandma just passed away last year, and she told me so much, please go to church, please get baptized, and just follow God and you'll be okay. And I feel like ever since then, every step just follows me towards God now. And I'm actually getting baptized next week.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, but I've been very into spiritual stuff my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday was my grandma's birthday, and I actually had a dream last night.
Are you serious?
Yeah. When I woke up this morning, I was teary-eyed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was with my grandma last night, and she got to hang out with her best friend, and I just went to her house. She lived with us, but in my dream, she lived in her actual house that I always went to as a kid, and with her dog and everything, and it was so nice. And she definitely visited me last night.
That's amazing.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
It's very funny how many dream visitation stories.
Yeah. It's also brave to stop and share that.
Yeah.
So thank you. That's really cool.
That's really cool.
That's so special too. It's basically she was with you last night.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
It's my favorite thing. And at first, I never had dreams about her, and then when that happens, it really makes me happy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
same with my friend too. Every time they're in my dreams, it's like they never passed away. They're still with me, so it gives me hope.
It's such a gift.
Still there.
Yeah.
What's your friend's name?
Heather.
All right.
She's
Hi, Heather.
Around. Hey, Heather.
Yeah, she would love it here. Those are probably my most intense ones.
Yeah.
But I do believe in ghosts, though. So
We do too.
I know the Bible doesn't say ghosts are real, but they are.
That's cool. You're finding your own way.
Yeah, because I've definitely had some weird encounters too in my life, but that's why I will not say that they're not real, because I've had.
Well, Heather proved that.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they're able to still look over, there has to be spirits around here too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both so much for stopping and talking to us.
Enjoy your visit.
Yeah, have a good one.
You.
Do you guys have a second to talk about psychics or intuition? All right. All right.
No, thank you, loser.
Skateboarding, cool.
Okay, they all love the magic guy. I feel like people are working out a lot of childhood trauma out here.
You guys have a moment to speak about psychic abilities or intuition?
Psychic abilities?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
All right.
Goodness, my gosh. I had a brilliant experience when I was living in an ashram in the Himalayas.
Oh, wow.
And I had my first outer body experience.
Wow.
Yeah. I was sitting in the back of the ashram. I just finished meditation. And I went outside and suddenly I actually did physically leave my body for the first time in my life. I physically left it. I was up there. I was beside the Ganges. This is high up in the Himalaya, yeah. And at that moment, I realized I wasn't actually attached to my physical body anymore. And then I realized, yeah, that's what it's all about. This body is a car. Yeah.
Did you, was that a part of a deep meditation?
No, it was just a meditation class. I was just doing it, and then I'd finished it, and we went out the back to sit down and just sit by the Ganges, and suddenly I closed my eyes and I was off. I meditated before that, but that moment changed my whole vision, I think, on life.
Have you been able to achieve that level of out of body again, or?
I don't think there's ever anything like the first time you do that. I think the first time's the most powerful. I mean, I was terrified, and thankfully there was, you called them swamis, right? Yeah. They were in the ashram for me to be able to speak to, because I actually was quite like, oh, what's going on here? I didn't really realize. Yeah. Ever since then, I have been able to, but it's not ever been like that first time. It's like anything.
I'm curious, how has it changed how you approach your life?
I think I just see that you've got a spirit, right? And the physical body is so important to look after. There's no doubt, right? That's why we do our yoga asanas and all that, right? Yeah. But the spirit is beyond that. It's beyond it. It's not the same thing. It's just like the thing that, that goes from body to body.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We're from the suburbs. Do you know anything about psychic stuff?
Do you guys believe in psychics or psychic abilities? Okay, see ya. If you want to talk to me real quick? Thank you.
It's an AirPods world. Do you guys not want to talk about psychic stuff? And then they say no, and we've got them.
A gentleman's agreement. Do you guys have a moment to talk about spirituality or psychic abilities?
Well, I do psychic work for a living.
Oh, we found one.
I have a lot of stories. What kind of story do you want?
What kind of psychic work do you do? What's your job?
I do mediumship work for people. I do clearing of businesses for people as well, so spirits or whatever, things like that.
Yeah.
Have you always been in touch with this ability?
I knew as a child, but I kind of closed it down early on. I just had a lot of nightmares and grew up Catholic and also Jehovah's Witness. So I closed it down.
Double whammy.
Yeah. So I closed it down pretty early.
What was it like when you were growing up?
I mean, as a child, I was very terrified.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening. I mean, I had nightmares all the time. I couldn't tell people what I was experiencing or feeling. I also work with kids too. Some kids now and then who have psychic abilities, and parents who I tell them to nurture them, because it's really important, because if not, a lot of them will close down.
Yeah.
And then that can turn into other things such as abuse for drugs, alcohol, because you're trying to suppress it.
Yeah.
For so many years, I was abusing alcohol to suppress it. So for kids, it's hard. And it's really important for people to I guess not shame it, but encourage it in a healthy way, and for parents to really try to learn. But it's hard because there's not a lot of resources for that.
There's not a lot of resources.
That's what we've been talking about nonstop. There's not a lot of resources for parents who are trying to raise a child in a healthy, supportive environment with what they're experiencing. What made you bring it back into your life, mediumship?
I think I just got to a breaking point where I got into a really deep depression, and I was kind of looking for something else. And my background, I'm Mexican, so I was going to Oaxaca for a research project, actually, but I was searching for something else. And my professor actually lives up the street right here. He was like, yeah, I know you're very spiritual, so let's just go there and let's see what happens. Not knowing that I was going into this huge spiritual awakening. And when I came back, I was a completely different person, because one, I had my grandfather who passed away, and at least within my culture, it's if someone passes away, when someone's in need, you kind of take their energy on. So that kind of broke me open, and I started to learn more about meditation, and I fell into that journey. So it's been 8 years now of going down that pathway, and it all started to come back as soon as I started meditating.
Meditation. Has that been the thing that has grounded you the most coming into your abilities?
Meditation. A lot of the stuff that I've learned has been through meditation, and has been through just listening and being humble enough to listen to my ancestors and whatever presents itself to me. That's been my main thing. And then finding people like you along the path. Yeah.
Has there been a moment as a professional medium now that's been really exciting for you?
Yeah, I mean, I say every day is exciting because you never know. Like sometimes I'm just like having something like this with you, and then I have a phone call and it's like normal life, right? So like it's exciting to go back and forth, but then also confusing at the same time. But I mean, every day is exciting because you get to help someone.
Yeah.
You have a card?
I do have a card.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Plug it real quick.
So it's going to be www.ground/uxp.com.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for your patience.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you for listening. Visit www.clairvoyaging.com for show notes, merch, or just to say hi. If you'd like to support our journey, visit www.buymeacoffee.com/clairvoyaging. This has been a production of Wayfeather Media.